audio quickly.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right, it's so awesome to have everyone here again. As always, let me share my screen quickly. There we go. Uh, Welcome at the 10th, actually. No, what is it? No, it's not the 10th. Like, which one is it actually? It's the 20th, community all hands of Qubic. I'm so happy to have all of you here. We have a super packed, agenda today. We have Albert speaking also today. We have the guys from Nostromo speaking today. The folks from, from Voltoon. I think we're also very curious about the guys from Avicen. I hope I say this correctly. Who are going to talk about the Solana bridge. And yeah, I already see Super Soup saying when Joton, well, you will need to wait. Saving the best for last, which is the Cortec update. Um, yeah, so very happy to have all of you folks here. Just going to do a quick hello. I see hello Salar, hello Blood Dream, hello Empower, hello Polo Polo, hello Drak, Doge, Braven, Urban Screamer. I see Echo, I see Cubut, I see Slav. It's awesome to have all of you guys here on this, on this call. If you have any questions, there are two ways on how you can ask your questions. You can ask your questions in the chat, or you can ask your questions in the AMA channel. Um, there's a risk that if you ask them in the chat, that I might not be able to see them if folks keep chatting the whole time, which I hope they do. But if not, if you want to play it safe, just ask your questions in the AMA channel. I'm dropping the link now in the chat, and then I'll make sure that all your questions in the end will be answered. All right. Now, without further ado, would like to move the conversation to Zelorio. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I think this is the fourth time that we're speaking with each other.
Yeah,
I know you, like I can almost consider you as a friend, by now, and I feel the connection is good. Yeah, I'm giving the floor to you.
yeah. Thank you. And sorry, guys, for being like the first here before the updates, but we are quite in a rush, and we gotta leave like really soon. And today, well, we said we will finish the MVP by 26th. We have everything set up right now, and it's 23rd. Well, and we have the things in mainnet. The good thing is that we released our first version in mainnet. We still don't have the final domain already attached to it, but I will share my screen. And okay, can you see this? I think so, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay,
can see it.
okay, perfect. So everything that is happening here, I will be showing you the transactions on the Qubic Explorer. So you will see that everything is true. I mean, blockchain doesn't lie. So first of all, this is the front page where you can find everything about Nostromo. And up right corner, as always, we can connect the wallet. Right now, we have only the MetaMask connection. We don't have the wallet connect. We are working on that, but everything that we're doing is with MetaMask Snap. So we just connect the MetaMask. And for those who struggle a bit about how you can get the hash of your wallet, you can click on F12 and you can open the console. When you open the console and you click up here, this it says user account blah 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 blah. So this is actually your wallet address. Okay. Here Jorge is with me. Is our CTO. Also will be speaking in case we need something more. Okay. So right now we've opened the smart contract for the tires. Sorry. So here we have the face hugger, chat bars, blah blah blah, dog, xenomorphs, warrior. So depending on the tire that you stake your cubic, you will receive an advantage into the ecosystem. So we're gonna do everything on the face hugger one. Just pay attention here that my wallet right now has 44,000 cubics. Okay. When I click on facehugger, stake your 20 million, upgrade tire here. We have a, I don't know if you can see this transaction, but I'm signing the transaction in MetaMask because I'm only sharing the screen. I think you cannot see the pop-up, but it's over here. And you will see that the transaction will be completed soon. What am I doing? Am I taking my Qubic? Oh yeah, that's a good gift. Actually, I'm putting my Qubic into the tire to stake. Okay, it's taking a bit. Okay, let me see if there is any problem here. But I will yeah, it took a bit of time. Okay, so here, if I refresh the page, oh, it didn't stake, I think. Sorry, I'm gonna do it again. Upgrade tire and approve. Let me see if there is any problem with the smart contract. Tell me, Jorge.
Eh, sorry, nada. Do it again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I misclick or something. Here, is everything done? So it says I have to refresh this because we didn't refresh the button yet, but you can see that in my wallet there are 24 million instead of 44. And here I have my stake that is like 20 million Qubic, and I'm a face hugger. Well, it's not very beautiful to say this to myself, but I'm a face hugger right now. I have this kind of pool wave, I can invest in this kind of rounds, and the tire and stake fee. Okay, so what is this? If you remember, for those of you who bought the shares of Nostromo, every time a user is unstaking or every time a project is raising funds, these funds, like there's a revenue share coming to the shareholders. Okay, so what will happen if now I unstake my tokens? I can unstake, click on unstake. Now it pop ups on MetaMask. I approve. And let's wait a bit. And this token should be unstaken again in my wallet. So I refresh. What happens now? That I don't have 44 million. Why? Because there was one penalty in the unstake that is 1 million Qubic tokens. Okay, this million of Qubic tokens goes directly to the smart contract, and at the end of every epoch, this smart contract is distributing the rewards to the shareholders. How we can know this? Okay, we can come here to the Qubic Explorer. This is the main Explorer. That's why we're in mainnet and so proud of, it. Sorry, I will copy paste my wallet address. And here, as you can see, I have only 43 million. Before we were doing some tests, that's why these transactions. But these two transactions, the first one says that I'm sending to the Nostromo smart contract 20 million Qubic. This, the type, says one smart contract. The type 1 is to stake. The type 2 is to unstake. So the second transaction is the unstaking. That is a type 2. So when I go to the address of the Nostromo, I can click and I can see the amount of Qubic that is holding at the moment. So on every single transaction that is interacting with the smart contract, you will see everything here. So every fundraise and every unstake will gather Qubic token here that will be distributed to the shareholders every time we have an epoch. So I don't know, Jorge, if you want to intervene or something.
No, it's enough, but maybe we can explain how the project works. What's the workflow?
Yeah, for sure. I will come back now. You mean like the applications?
If you if you click the Nostromo logo, yes, go
Yeah,
down
I mean
and
the
apply.
applications, right? Okay.
Yes.
So right now, and here I'm like calling everyone. We are talking with a couple of projects, but we need more. as more projects we have, the better for you guys, the better for the community, the better for Nostromo holders and everything. So if you have people that is interested on launching a project in Nostromo, please DM us or send a message through X. But for the applications, if we go to the apply, here there are different sections that the different projects can fulfill. So when you put all the information, the project name, contact email, blah, 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 social network documentation, we need the token information, the raising funds, vesting options. And then when you fulfill everything, a button will be shown here that says apply or send. When you click this information comes to us, to the Nostromo team. Why? First this, because we are like the main filter to remove everything related to scams or stupid projects or spams or these kind of things. So the first thing that will come up is like we receive the information of the projects, then we send this information to you guys, and you are the one voting yes or voting no for that project to be released in Nostromo. So then the section of because now we don't have IDOs, but these sections will be fulfilled with the projects that actually pass this filter and will start the fundraising. Okay, so basically everything is right here. It's very simple to come and have a look at it, but we prefer to have the domain and everything when we have a project that will come really soon. But the good thing is that the smart contracts are working. We are in mainnet, and now our arms are more than open to bring projects into the ecosystem. Well, also as a second thing to say is that we will be applying for a second grant for the Qubic incubation, because we, through these 6 months of extra development, we've seen some things that we have to polish. And also in, I think, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, there will be a new node application that is like, let's be a bit techy here, but giving you the errors that the smart contracts have right now in Qubic, because now it's a bit problematic when you have an error in your code that you don't have a pushback from the engine that tells you the error is in the line number 57. But now Qubic is performing this and changing this, and we will be having this integrated into the ecosystem. Okay, I think this is mainly everything right now. I don't know, Talent.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for presenting. Yeah, look, yeah, it looks very exciting. And I'm pretty sure that the community will have some questions for you also a little bit later. Folks, if you have any questions for Nostromo, please write them down in the AMA channel, and I'll make sure that they get asked also a little bit later. Thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen again and move on to the ecosystem update. Albert.
Thank you so much, Talent. So let me see if I can see the screen. Okay, now I can see it. So can you please go to the next slide, please? So today we posted extended information for transparency. What happened with all the funds? What's the current situation with all the exchanges? And you can go to the Discord. It's in the channel that it's called Exchange Listen in the proposals folder. And you can see everything, all the detail of what we've done. Even we asked permission to the scroll to publicly publish the address where the 300,000 USDT for the Tier 1 exchange in the US. It's currently holding. And check everything. So we have to say that we are also too frustrated as well that things are not progressing so quick. We are doing everything we can and putting all the pressure that we can to make this happen. And also for the sake of transparency, we've published all the information, all the OTC shares that we did. So can you go to the next slide, please? OKX, what we can say is that, well, we have the phase one. It was a joint global marketing campaign. Also, we can say that we weren't very happy how it was handled by OKX. However, the target 5,000 users, we managed to have a little bit less than 3,000 users, sorry, registrations. Plus also most of the communities, the ambassador community, they managed to collect all user IDs that we sent them to OKX. So it was good enough. So we are in the phase two, and currently OKX is evaluating the wallet interaction. So it means that they are evaluating the technical. It doesn't mean that it will be done very quickly or not, that we don't know until we have the evaluation from OKX. So we also are putting a lot of pressure here. Let's see what's going to happen. The next phase, when we have the wallet integration, it will be the exchange listing. Can you go to the next slide, please? And for the tier one in the United States, as we mentioned earlier, this is an ongoing process. It means that they are working on it. They are doing also, they did an extensive compliance and technical evaluation that it's still an ongoing process. It didn't finish yet. And we solved several technical issues the last weeks because of the regulations. Like for instance, they require to have a node, so the RPC was not enough for them. So we solved this situation, letting them to have their own node and their own RPC, so they comply with the security procedures that they already have. It's an ongoing process. The more pressure we put, it doesn't mean that we are going to get this quicker, but we are every day pushing to make this a reality. From my point of view, we need this tier one exchange in the US because from all the metrics that we've seen previously, it seems that our biggest market is the United States. And right now, we don't have any possibility for US users to invest here. So it's a problem that we have to solve. Can you go to the next slide, please? So this is everything related to the exchanges, but I insist, if you want to see the extended information on what we did, go to the post in Discord that I published this morning, where you have all the information related to that. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us. Then, moving to the next topic, the scientific team, Vivancos and Dr. Sanchez, they have been working during the last weeks on something that it can be a very good breakthrough. So they are working on the hybridization of AGARTs with their neuroaction model. To make it more powerful, they are testing the level of, well, better testing, they are adjusting the neuromodulators so they can achieve a viable accuracy. A viable accuracy, it means that we must have more than 99% of accuracy, and then they can extend this information to the paper, they can have the proof, they can publish and also propose this model for the IGAR team to move forward with this. I've seen the first approaches. The accuracy is quite well, but it's not the 99% that it should have. And it's like a 3D model, something that I'm sure that once it's ready, it will be very, very interesting to read and to test. And then going to the next slide, please. So we have also updates from the DevDocs. Latio is here. Maybe Latio, if you want to extend the information about the DevDocs.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
basically we launch, and thanks for everyone that helped us update the smart contract. So you know how to create smart contracts, also the integrations, explain how to make transactions. And I think like we got to the point where we have a very good developer documentation now when someone comes. And I also want to thank everyone that gave feedback. So yeah, basically the two major changes were smart contracts and the transaction RPC anatomy. And I think like now we have a pretty good documentation about Qubic Tech.
Yeah, thank you so much, Latio. So I received also feedback, proposals that we are taking notes, and we will be working also on that for during the next weeks. Then the RFP for perpetual DEX, it's on the works. Now that we finish the Solana Bridge RFP, that I have to recognize that it was quite a lot of work, to select what was the best proposal. But there was like several facts that makes us technically think that it was the best solution that we have. But we also have another companies, dev companies with a very good track record that they want to bid in Qubic. We will offer the new RFPs, of course, for them. And also, Mr. Rose published today the incubation report, so you can go to the Discord channel and check how the next incubation they are moving forward. So this is everything from the ecosystem team. So thank you so much, and I pass the microphone on to you, Talent.
Thank you so much, Albert. For the extensive update, and obviously also Latio. It's good to hear you, man. It's been some time ago. All right, we're gonna pass the mic to Fortune.
Hello.
How's it going, Arcos?
Not too bad. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself? Thanks for having me.
Obviously very good. All right, floor is yours.
Lovely. So we just finished the milestone 1. So after the approval and everything, we start the developing last week. Last week, that was on the 15th on Wednesday. So we set up each milestone in about 2 weeks, including Q&A. But we are trying to push, so as we want to deliver it quick as well, and well done. So. Right. So yeah. So the milestone 1 is actually been reviewed by the Qubic team. So we have implemented in the Qubic smart contract the multi-sign that we were advised it. In the smart contract, we have done a 35 unity test, and all of them passed without no problems. So the multi-sign of 2 admins out of 3 that needs to approve. So now this is functional. And the governance API is done in the backend, basically. So yeah, I mean, this is quick, but yeah, we are now, as I said, pending on Q&A and doing full test as well. Thanks Qubic, I want to say, for helping us setting up the testnet node really quick as well, and with some issues that as well solved like instantly almost, which we really appreciate. And hopefully, yes, if everything passes and we are happy as well with the test, so by next week, we should start with milestone 1, which if you can pass the slide. Yeah, so, well, the milestone 2, I mean, so which will be to adapt to the EVM smart contract that with a multi-sign as well, finish the backend area that goes with EVM. And basically, yes, I said the first point, complete the full order flow and full integration testing in both of them, basically. So hopefully we can try to do it a bit quicker as well instead of 2 weeks. But I don't want to provide because we know how this world works, and sometimes it appears a blocker, and that blocker can take you a whole week. But hopefully not. And that's it from my side.
All right, thank you so much for the update. Awesome to see you guys moving, and we can't wait for the next steps. All right, I think without further ado, Avishen? I think Marwana, right?
Yes, hello. Can you hear
Marwan,
me?
sorry, that's how I should pronounce it. Yes, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Nice.
How are you doing? And welcome to Qubic also, and also congratulations for for winning the RFP.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure, and we're very happy to start collaborating with you.
Okay. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, nice to meet you, everyone. It's very nice to be here. We're very happy to start working on Qubic. So we thought it would be a nice thing to introduce ourselves first, since we just happened to be here for the first time. So hello everyone. Avisan Studio is a Web3 development company. We're based in Paris and Dubai, and we co-founded the company 5 years ago, and we've been building Web3 products ever since. So basically, we covered a lot of different products from DeFi protocols, staking platforms, payment systems, bridges as well, working with the wormhole, for example, and covering a lot of the different type of companies too, going from linear, usual, consensus, global stakes, and others. And yeah, we have a deep focus in tech and product. So that's why I think we had a very big focus on the product side and the tech side on the proposal we made, and we're very eager to dive deep into a project that was that deep tech and innovative as the one in Qubic. You can go to the next slide, please. All right, so one thing that was put into the proposal was our bridge track record, obviously. So one of our major achievements in that space was working with Wormhole, and we're the first one, according to Wormhole, to fork their tech, fork their product, and make a bridge, Solana 2-based bridge with transfer fees, which was never done before due to complex interoperability things between fee structure on Base and the Solana standard. And yeah, so that was one of the thing that made us dive deep into bridges technology. Yeah, next slide, please. So how the bridge works. So the Qubic and Solana bridge, it connects the Qubic's compute economy with Solana's liquidity ecosystem. So the whole point of it is to bring the Solana liquidity to Qubic's ecosystem. It has a very simple way of working because we divided the work into different steps, and the first one will be the MVP of the bridge, obviously. So we have a very iterative way of building products. So the first version of it would have the following features, which is the two-way bridge, so move Qubic between Qubic and Solana, and a lock and mint system, which is basically the purpose of and the single value of the bridge, which is Qubic is locked on one chain, mint in one on the other, and when bridged back, it's burned then unlocked, and it's fully collateralized. So every wrap token is verifiable on chain, and that's very important, I think, for verifiability and the even open source mindset that there is behind the bridge. Next slide, please. Those are a few details of the bridge. So the first asset that would be supported is obviously Qubic, and on the following versions of the bridge, we'll start adding more tokens, so Solana and other tokens. But as I said, we always think products in an interactive way, and that's how we thought about it. So the first thing would be supporting Qubic, and then on the following versions, making sure that everything works perfectly well and adding more assets. On the fees part, there's a base fee of 0.2%. It can go up to 0.25% in case of manual work and in-person or human intervention. There is a minimum fee of $0.5 and the maximum fee, so a hard cap of 50 USD. So whatever the price, whatever the amount transfer, the maximum fee would be a hard cap to $50. And that's the goal behind that is to keep a competitive advantage and keep it interesting for people to bridge tokens. And obviously, the governance and control remain within Qubic computers. You can go to the next slide, please. So, why is bullish for Qubic? I think obviously most of you already know that. It's obvious to say, but the thing is, Qubic is very deep tech, and it's very respected in the space for that. And this bridge would offer Qubic the access to Solana's DeFi market and liquidity. And we all know how Solana volumes are. I think most of you have already used the Solana ecosystem and see how bullish people are on that. So bridging the two would make Qubic would higher the volume of use, and that's the whole idea and goal behind that. And obviously, like the goal behind interoperability is to attract new users and strengthen Qubic's adoption. It's built open source, so from day one. So the whole community can audit, test, and improve. We will be very, very transparent on very development, and it will be open source by design and approved by the Qubic core team. So all of you can follow that very closely. And yeah, we think that is the foundation for Qubic's expansion beyond its native ecosystem.
Super exciting, man. This is really cool.
Yeah, I think there's a last slide, but yeah, so that's the last slide about the timeline. So very simple, the timeline would be, we estimate that to be around 25 weeks of development for the first version of the bridge. You can see that we have done the thing to be as parallelized as possible. So between the week 4 and 14, we have different teams working together and in parallel all on different features of the bridge. And we are currently structuring the team to start building the bridge. So we estimate the start of the development to be around mid-November. We're doing everything at the moment now since we had the approval of the ecosystem and the approval of Qubic. We are now starting to structure the team, preparing for the development, and doing research and architecture right at the moment. So it's a real pleasure. Thank you very much, everyone. I think I'm done.
All right, thank you so much. Hey, would you mind perhaps also sharing with us, like, how did you get to know about Qubic? Like, what's the reason also that you guys got in touch?
The reason we got to know Qubic is very simple. We hired a few months ago a guy called Brice. So you may know him from his name Tokenoya, and he's a Qubic ambassador. And I started having a conversation with him about Qubic even before he worked with us. And I got very hyped about the whole project and the whole community behind it. We started digging into it, and we found it so interesting that it would be impossible not to try to work with Qubic. So that's how we got into it.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Yeah, we met him in France. I think the majority of the ecosystem team, they met Tokonoya and friends, and I think we were very impressed. I think you made an awesome hire. Thank you so much, Tokonoya. All right. Thank you so much. Gonna move forward with I think the very big update. Hello, Jotam.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Yes,
I hope everything is going well, but I'm going to give the floor to you. Let's go.
that's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, as usual, I start with some highlights picked out of the iteration logs you find below the page or on the slide. So I always invite everybody to follow the progress the dev teams are doing. You will find all the progress in GitHub. My picks for the last few weeks for sure is the new pending transaction pool we will hear about a bit later from Raika. I picked the RPC API query service, which is now available for all ecosystem builders. This let them basically query data in a more let's say in a better way, so they can filter transactions by different criteria and things like that, which before was not possible. I also want to thank you very much to Lazio. He already mentioned it, the Qubic documentation update, which is now even better for builders who wants to start on Qubic. Just a reminder, everybody who's interested, go to docs.qubic.org. You will find the updates there, and it's quite cool and even getting better from time to time. And last one is we had some code cleanups. We call them refactorings inside of the core, and also some other cleanups in front-end apps or in the integration layer. And I always appreciate the devs doing this because that's normally what they don't like. They just like to create new features, but sometimes it's cool to also clean up some code which is there long time. Yeah, let's move on, please. Next slide. So normally I present my highlights, but today we're gonna go a bit deeper into some tech updates. And this is basically the content table. I'm gonna present about the dev plan until the end of year. Many people ask me, hey, what are you gonna do? What is the status of Oracle machines? What is the status of XYZ? And here we get some of the information. And then we're gonna do some high-level deep dive into the Qubic network architecture by explaining some core parts like the core light node, the core Bob node. I'm really happy to have Raika today with me. She will talk about the new pending TX pool and also the new feature which will start the smart contracts execution fees. And to finish everything, we have some slightly updates on Oracle machine, the front-end apps, and our organization and the founding request, which will follow very soon. Let's start with the planning. Please, next slide. We are currently in October 25. As you can see, we have released, or not we, many people, also contributors released the core light node. It's like a beta version which is running. We will improve them in November. I call this adaptation period. And then in latest December 25, we plan to have an auto deploy. This means that every time when the Qubic core nodes are updated, an auto release and auto deploy of the light node is triggered by automated actions. I will explain later why this is important. We're gonna have a similar path with the core Bob node, which is right now on beta level. It's starting to be rolled out. We will have an optimize phase and then hopefully a big spreading around the world. Yeah, and the rest I leave to you guys. You can read about. As I understand Talent Notes, we share the presentation, so also all the people can have a look at the presentation later on the details, which I didn't cover now.
Yeah,
Is that
sure thing.
correct?
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. We're
Perfect.
going to share it.
Then we can go on and start with a network, or yeah, let's say a network overview. I do this now to remind you guys on how Qubic is built, to have a better understanding when we go to talk a bit more about the specific node models or the specific nodes. We have on the left top side, we have this core network, which we call layer 1, layer 0, however you want to call it. Basically, this is the communication layer of Qubic, which is native Qubic communication. We have these red ones. This is the Qubic core node, which is running on bare metal, and we have the core Oracle machine node. These ones are must-haves for all computer operators. So each computer is forced to run these nodes. So that's basically the core network. And then on top or beside, we have this core Bob node and this core Light node, which is using also the Qubic communication layer and can connect to any bare metal node. So they all can exchange information to each other. Means that with each node we add to the network, we have a more strengthened network. People who are here and has suffered DDoS attacks in the last few months will hopefully see that if we add these nodes to the network gets more stable. So the more nodes we have, the more stable is the network, and the heavier a DDoS attack have to be to let the network suffer. So then on the left bottom side, we have I call that extended network, layer 2, or however you want to call it. This is like nodes that connect to the core network and bring specific services to the next layer. For example, we have there these outsourced computing bridges. We used this for the XMR POC. Basically, this is bridging any network to Qubic, or any application to Qubic. We have archive nodes. I hope the most of you know that the Qubic network itself does a transaction pruning every epoch. So basically, every week, the transactions are pruned to have a history of the transactions. We use these archive nodes, or any other third-party application can do that as well, of course. But officially, we support archive nodes, which do the historical persistation of the transactions. And together with archive nodes and the core network, we are able to provide the RPC APIs, which then, of course, all of this can be used from the applications on the right side. We call this ecosystem. This may be web services, wallets, Exchange, Oracle providers, any DApp. So with the introduction of Core Light node, Core Bob node, the Oracle machine nodes, and these extensions, we widely open the ability of the network to communicate and to interact with users, customers, clients, whatever. So yeah, I hope you can keep this image now in mind when we go into some details on the next slide. I start with the Core Light node. Thanks to the incubation, which was handed over to Feiyu. So he basically ported the Qubic core node in a way that it now is possible to run it in Linux. So you don't need a bare metal, you can run it on every Linux system. It has way lower hardware requirements. So for example, a computer node needs to have 2 terabyte of memory, which a Core Lite node can even run with 32 gigabyte of memory. So it's much less hardware requirement, which we hope that it gives us a higher or broader adoption of the network nodes. The idea of the Core Lite node is that you can integrate it with your business application. So if you are running an exchange, if you're running a platform XYZ, you can run your own Core Lite node and having access to the network via your own node without the need to run a heavy bare metal node. The goal is clear, as I already said, is strengthen the core network. There are, of course, some things a Core Lite node cannot do. So, for example, the history of ticks stored in a Core Lite node will be less than in a full node, of course. I mean, it's obvious if we have less memory. Qubic, as a reminder, Qubic runs completely from memory. So if it has less memory, we can store less tick storage. Or we have less tick storage and we can store less information. Nevertheless, for the actual tick or for the actual running, the Core Lite node will help the network to strengthen. And as mentioned, the ultimate goal is to have an automated deployment, which is triggered by releases from the core. Yeah, that's it. We can go to the next. And another new node is Bob. This was inspired by Anna. We say that this is Anna's brother. This is brought to us by DCAT. So it's very similar to the Lite node, but it has some, it differentiates in a way that it is not using the same data structure as the Lite node or the full node. So it is completely built from scratch, or not from scratch, but differently. The advantage is that it can even run on a lower end VPS, for example. So you can run it on low end VPS with only 8 gigabyte of memory, which is really cool. The idea of Bob is that, for example, we have I don't know, we have an application or a platform like QubicTrade.com or org, and they want to have their own data. They want to have their own information stream from the network. So instead that they build everything from scratch, they can run a Bob node, and the Bob node is already doing that. So it enables, for example, that this platform can search for log events. Log events are like each thing that happens in the network, like a transfer from A to B, like an asset transfer or a smart contract execution or something like this, triggers a log event, and based on these events, you can do anything. So you know balance changes, you know if an asset or a token has transferred, and being able to search for these log events is something very important for any ecosystem project. And the strength of Bob is that it is highly customizable and it can be extended by any builder. DCAT, I'm not sure. I think DCAT mentioned that it's like modular build, means that you can also adapt your application. You can write a module which then can like connect to the Bob architecture. One example, some tech example. So one technical part of Bob is that it is running on with Redis. Redis is an in-memory database, and you can, of course, you could query directly from Redis, which makes your application very easy to use. So you don't even have to use you don't have to use a proprietary Qubic protocol. You can use a well-known Redis protocol, for example. That's enough for now. I would now hand over to Raika. For the people who doesn't know who is Raika, Raika is one of our core developers. She is currently leading or she led the memory pool edition. And yeah, maybe you can just go ahead, Raika. Feel free.
Yes, thank you. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can hear you.
Yes.
okay, great. Okay, yeah, I don't want to be talking and then find out that no one actually heard me for like 5 minutes. Yeah, great to be here. Yeah, so let's dive into it. Yeah, so one thing that went live now this week at Epoch Switch is the new pending transaction pool. I'm very happy that it went smoothly and we didn't have any issues popping up. Because that can easily happen when you change one of kind of the core components of the core nodes. So yeah, with this new pending transaction pool, we have made a big step into optimization of the network in regards to processing pending transactions, also speeding up the network. And also on the technical side, it made a lot of code much cleaner, which I don't really want to dive into now because it's very technical. But if any of you are interested, we might do some events that dive a bit more into the technical parts of this topic and also other topics. So to summarize the most important changes, before, I'm not sure how many people actually knew, but there was a limit on the amount of transactions that you could actually schedule. So each non-computer entity could only schedule one transaction in advance for some future tick. And computers could schedule a bit more because they actually do need a lot of transactions to keep the network running. And now with this new pending transaction pool, all entities are able to schedule kind of like an arbitrary number of transactions in advance. And to actually not blow up the memory requirement that JT talked about as well too much, we had to restrict this a little bit. So you can schedule in advance for 10 minutes. So this is handled by the core. If you need to schedule in advance for a longer period of time, then we can add this on top with some applications so they can handle this. Before, you could theoretically schedule much longer in advance, but it did not really help you because you were only ever able to have one pending transaction. So that was not really an advantage that was usable by any entities. And then an also new addition is that we have some prioritization of the transaction. So before there was not really any prioritization, which is not a big issue if you don't have many transactions, but if you actually do have many transactions, or you also get a DDoS attack like we experienced, you may have issues that you actually fill this up quite quickly and the actual important transactions don't get through anymore. And so we had, with adding this pending transaction pool, we had to also add some prioritization to make sure that legit and important transactions are actually included in the ticks. So this is currently based on the source balance and the ticks that passed since the last outgoing transfer. Then next slide. I also want to quickly talk about the new feature that we're starting now. This are the execution fees for smart contracts. This is actually something that CFB envisioned from the start, I guess, but it was not implemented yet. So now we are starting to do this. And if you have read the timeline slide at the beginning that JT showed, you might have seen that we plan on having this kind of ready at the end, at least for initial testing phase, at the end of the year. So what is this about? So in the core is that smart contracts have to pay a fee for the computation time that they are using on the main network. And this also includes the execution time fees for smart contracts that they use. So if one contract calls another one as a utility, then this calling contract has to pay the whole fee for the computation time. So this is a kind of crucial part of the Qubic economy. So usually the smart contracts, they charge the user some kind of fee from which a part goes to, for example, shareholders, but also a part of this fee has to be used by the smart contract to actually pay for the computation time that it uses. And this also means that this, of course, encourages efficient smart contract code, because every smart contract wants to kind of like pay as little as possible, which also means we can hopefully maintain a high speed of the network, even when we have like more and more smart contracts added in the future. And each contract has its own reserve that it needs to pay these fees from. And this reserve is initially filled with the Qubics that are burned, that are paid for the shares during the IPO of the contract. And then in addition, once the contract is constructed and live, this reserve has to be filled by burning the Qubics from the smart contract. Yeah, so now some of you might be asking, okay, this is maybe also very technical. What is the impact? So it's a bit hard to judge right now. So it could happen that some user fees from the smart contracts might change, because right now, because these fees were never actually calculated and charged, the smart contract developers basically had to make their best guess at how many fees they need, and they need to burn to actually keep their reserve filled. So that's also why we plan to have this initial testing phase on the main network, where we will actually compute these fees and make these also visible, so that the smart contract developers can also see how much their smart contract would actually need to pay for like a few testing epochs. And then we will go completely live with this change and start charging this amount. Yeah. So maybe some smart contracts overestimated the amount of Qubics they need. So in this case, they may lower the fee for you as a user, or others might realize that they actually they don't have enough in their reserve, so they might need to get a higher fee or just decide to burn more Qubics. Yeah, and then I'm gonna hand it over back to JT for the Oracle machines.
Thank you very much, Raika. It was a pleasure to hear your update. Yep. The really high-level update for the Oracle machines is this one. So anybody who was wondering how this works is that the Oracle machines in Qubic are not only accessible by smart contracts, but also by users. So basically, we want to open the ecosystem to anybody who wants to use Qubic as an Oracle machine provider. That's one of the cool things. So if some people want to have reliable, low latency, and simple usage of oracles, they could use Qubic for that. The usage of the oracles is fee-based, like a donation. So any oracle request will cost some small fee. We are right now not able to tell you, hey, this is how much it will be. So this will something we will find out in the testing phase. The notes. Could you go back to the roadmap just to have the timeline? Yes, thank you very much. So that you know how is the timeline. The idea you see in October is the Oracle machine node design, which means it's the design phase, the architecture phase. I already mentioned that in the chats that we are together with Phil, DCAD, CFP, and all other core devs. We are like planning the design. How can we build this node? How can these nodes interact with the Oracle providers and everything like this? We assume that we will finish it in October so that we can start the implementation beginning November. At the same time, I would suggest that we're gonna go to have a look for possible Oracle providers. It means that if we have the Oracle machines inside of the chain, we need providers who give us the information. These providers can be established providers which already exist in the market, or it can be new ones. So if anybody feels that he wants to be a provider, maybe this could be a chance to join the Qubic as an Oracle provider. And then in December 25, we plan to have the first tests on it. Means that we will still dev, but we're gonna have on the test nets first Oracle requests with responses, and hopefully the provider search was successful and we can have the first providers providing Oracle information, price information, or whatever we find then to the network. The ultimate goal is that we can start with real world tests in January 26, and then the rest, of course, will be the future history. We can go back to the update slide. Yes. I have just one more point here. Very important for us is that we built the Oracle infrastructure inside of Qubic in a way that the providers do not need to know about Qubic. So as you see, we struggled in the past a lot that integrating with Qubic is complicated. It's very hard to understand how it works. So we want to avoid this for the Oracle machines in a way that we define a simple interface for the core, and the Oracle provider itself, they can provide an interface however they want. So there is like this interface between the Oracle machine node and the Oracle provider, which is loosely coupled. There is no need that any Oracle provider needs to know about the internals of Qubic. That's the basic idea behind the design we want to go. You find below the link to the currently real high level documentation. So we will update this documentation as soon we have finished the design phase on how it will work. That's it. I cannot tell you more about the Oracle machines at the moment. Can go
It's
to the
awesome.
next. So the last topic from technology-wise is the front-end client apps. We requested founding for a penetration test for our mobile wallets in Android and iOS. These penetration tests are finished, were done. Talent notes. I think we can see what you're doing. Talent, you're gone.
Sorry, guys. Let me just let me grab it just for a second.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I can continue talking while we recover the presentation. So yeah, we had these penetration tests. The cool thing is the testers didn't find any high critical issue, so we didn't have to do any urgent patches on the mobile wallets, and that's why we have just slightly updates. We have some minor things we have to fix, basically, or they are already fixed. So there are coming new updates to the wallets, and therefore we have a second round of penetration testing in November, where they're gonna check if the minor updates we made to the wallet, if they are good or not. And after that, we will receive a final report from the testing company, which we can then publish to the public, to you, and you will see the results of the penetration tests for the mobile wallets. We had in the past weeks some minor UI UX improvements on Explorer web wallet and some web application. And the last point here is very interesting. I really like that. So if any ecosystem builder right now was wondering, hey, how can I know what smart contracts do exist, or how can I know static information about Qubic? This is now actively available via static Qubic org. You can also find the source code on GitHub. Means that anybody who's coding or is building on Qubic can extend the static information, and you can use it freely in your application. So if you need static information about, for example, which smart contracts exist, which procedures on the smart contracts exist, and so on, you can just use the static data from static Qubic org. If you find out, hey, something is missing, create a pull request to the GitHub, and it can be automatically published to this. The idea behind is that any ecosystem builder has easily access to static information about Qubic, like a single source of truth. And I see right now that the most important bullet point is missing on the slide, but we have the picture on the right side. So because the penetration test was successful, so we can release the app update, which includes a DApp browser inside of the mobile wallet, so you can directly connect to the DApps. Like if you want to have a community voting, if you want to stake in QEarn, if you want to do a trade on QX Trade, so you can do this directly from your wallet in Android and iOS. We have the approval from Android, so the Android wallet will be published, I guess, in the next few minutes, hours. So the update should roll out smoothly. And for iOS, as usually, we are a bit fighting with Apple to get through the approval for the update. So for me, this is really excited to have the mobile wallets with the integrated app browsers. If you are missing applications there, or if there is something wrong, please reach out to Sally. She can update the list of the apps, and hopefully you will enjoy the app as I do. So that was it from a tech side update. I have one more last slide, which is about organization and founding talent. If you can, thank you very much. I will keep it really short. We have still 2 open positions, which is the DevOps engineer. There we are in the second interview round. Means that we had the first round, and now the team met a few candidates, and we hopefully can engage or can contract one of these. DevOps engineer, this position is meant to operate helping to operate the RPC API infrastructure, basically the infrastructure we are running in CoreTech. And the second position is the core developer, which we are in the first interview round. Means that we have the first interviews this week or next week. I'm not sure, this or next week. And then we can continue with second round and hopefully find somebody who is strong in C++ to help to produce all the things we have planned until end of the year and the beginning of 2026. We have some changes. Many of you know ICBlob, so he is the one, for example, who created the multi-sign vault. He was employed like full-time. He is changing to a per project base. So, for example, he will work on specific projects in the future. And the second one is Feyu, which built the core light node to improve this one and to have this whole automation I told you before. We will contract him at least for the next few months, that he can continue his great work and can provide everything was needed that we can automate the core light nodes. We have some anniversaries, which is really cool. for me, because it means that we have people working on Qubic, at least on the dev side, which are stable, which knows about Qubic, which brings the experience. I want to thank especially to Phil, which is with us now more than 2 years. Ticket will have his official 2 years in November. I know that he's already with Qubic a bit longer, but like this is the official contract time we had. Icy Blob is with us more than a year now. Yura joined us already 1.5 years ago. No, sorry, he will have in November, so it's already a year. And North Space and Mio the same 1 year with us. I hope that we can continue this contract and that the people still can work for and with Qubic with pleasure. And the last point on this slide, every organization needs some money. This also counts for the core technology. So we run out of money this month. Means that next epoch, which is epoch 185, if I'm right, we will have a new proposal for the founding from November 25 on going for the next months, to keep the devs, to keep the organization, and then I hope on support from the community and especially from the computers. So I talked really a lot today, and we are over the time. I give it back to Talent for the asking
that was
round.
good. That was good. Like besides from my awkward moment, this was really good. So no, I think it was a super extensive explanation of all the stuff that you guys are working and are building on. So yeah, huge hat tip. I would like to ask my speakers if they could maybe wait for another 5 to 6 minutes to just answer any of the questions that are now popping up. Folks, if you have any questions for one of the speakers, feel free to drop your questions right now. I don't want to keep them here for much longer. Any questions, you can drop them here in the chat. But for now, there were some questions in the AMA channel. Just give me 1 second. I will pop them up. This is a question I think that probably only you can answer, Albert, and otherwise it's probably CFB. It's a question from I think from Max. He's asking, Anna doesn't seem to be improving. Simply the correct answer she gives us suggests that it's not due to an improvement at the moment. It's not really a question, it's more of a statement, but perhaps you can shortly answer to him like what's going on and what's like the current state, or why is she responding the way that she's responding.
It's evolving, so we cannot expect that she's going to have proper answers anytime soon until we have more testing, more updates, more upgrades. So this is what all the IGAR team, CSV, and also the scientists are working on. So yeah, that's the thing.
Okay. There was another question from Max where he's asking about the development of Oracle machines. Well, I think the Jotum took a lot of time today to answer that. So I hope that's answered for you, Max. Hope that's okay. Then there is a question from KYE for you, Albert. He's asking, are you sure the as given proposals are up to date, or should you rather start thinking of adjusting them and maybe only focus on OKX and the tier 1 US exchange?
Well, what we are doing is what we proposed during the listing proposal, and is that once we have something, we will tell the community and we will see the reaction, and if it's positive, we will go to that. Obviously, what we have here is that the next price that we can have for a listing, if we are in a tier 1 in the United States, it will be much better negotiable than right now. So one thing at a time. Now we have two things at the same time. It's OKX and this tier 1 US exchange. So once we have one of these, we can think about moving forward, or see what are the cards that we have at the moment.
Great. All right. Thank you so much. I'm gonna move the mic to you, Joe Tom. Max is also asking, does the decrease in computing power affect anything other than the number of XMR mined?
In my opinion, no. The network is stable still. Yeah, no. The short
Okay.
answer is no.
All right, good. Let's see. I think there were a few more questions. 1 second. I think he changed it. Give me 1 second. Okay, it's a question from Kos. Thank you so much for asking your question, also, Kos. I think there might be something that you can answer, Albert. Maybe in collaboration with with Jotom. Has there been much work done on Quotary? I know it is still waiting for oracles, but the demand is very much there, and it would simply be a better version of Polymarket in any way. Do you guys know?
I know that they are working on an update. I cannot tell you when it's coming. So there are some technical things which are finishing, and then there should coming an update on Quotary. But I have no timeline for it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Then there's a question from Debrisi who's asking about listings tier 1. Yeah, that has been discussed a little bit earlier in the presentation. I would recommend you to just review the deck when it will be shared. Early next week, I will also share an update on everything that was discussed, because I think it was also what the community wanted. They wanted to see some, some bullet points on updates. So I will prepare those bullet points. And you can also see the recording back and actually listen to the recording back. So, all right. Another question from Loco MB who's asking about the AMA training. Someone using the X API to ask questions, or only manual input tweets that are seen occasionally? I think he's asking like how it works. Do you know how it works,
API.
Albert? Okay.
Yeah,
API.
it's as far as I know, it's a standalone application, based in the IGAT code, and it's a API. That's one of the reasons I think it took longer to integrate ANA.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. All right. Well, thank you so much. I got the thumbs up from Loco, so I think we're good. I would like to thank everyone for joining in today. Thank you so much, Morwana, for your first appearance here, and I think the first of many. Also, thank you so much, Latio, for stepping in. Thank you, Raika, also for giving such a deep, detailed overview on the stuff that you are working on. It's truly exciting. And obviously, Jotom and Albert for also for presenting your parts. Really exciting, super bullish on what's going on with with Qubic. Thanks everyone, also the audience, for joining in. You can find the recording, I think, in a couple of hours or in an hour maybe from now on the general chat, and we'll make sure to write a summary of everything that was discussed today as well. Thanks everyone, and I hope to see you on the next one. All right, cheers.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.